Alright, hello and welcome to Man Talks at Scream about 2 ORAS 1v1 series. So I'm doing Lancer versus James and Solar versus XSTATIC in the same video because for reasons that you'll see. So James versus Lancer is a winner's bracket match. Both of these are winner's bracket matches actually. So the loser will go to loser's bracket while the winner will move on. So we have James versus Lancer. First, we have Archops, Lando, Heracross versus Tyranitar, Gardevoir, Victini. So just right off the bat, Archops is very good here. Only loses to T-Tar, and then Landorus is also very good here. Only potentially loses to Gardevoir, and yeah, unless it's Scarf without Superpower, which is not a set, because Scarf Superpower kills T-Tar, 4x super effective bot. But most Gardevoirs defeat Landorus if it has Wisp at least, or Icy Wind, both work. The main way to lose that matchup is hard Hyper Beaming into AV, and then that's how you lose basically. So yeah, it's a 50-50 technically, but it's in Lancer's favor, or I mean James's favor, because Archops 2-1s, Lando 2-1s. But I don't know, in these matchups, one Mons is not going to come out, so really it's just a 50-50. So let's see what happens. We see Tyranitar come out into Landorus Therian. So sometimes I drop Superpower on EV Lando, which I still win the match because I click Bulldoze turn 1 on the counter. But yeah, that's something to consider. So Lancer picked into the Archops, which is just a really... It's a mon that a lot of people just pick in ORAS just to pick it, and then they don't get punished by missing Head Smash, but that's another story. But it's like one of those Ooga Booga mons like Slacking and Amped Palm that people pick a lot, and James did not pick it here, and decided to go Landorus on the T-Tar, which to be fair was another 2-1 that he had, but that was still good awareness from James that Lancer would be likely to pick into it. So we see Mega Evolution, Superpower, gone. So yeah, I'm not sure what set this was, probably AB, but who knows. In any case, we've played that to the end. James wins game 1. Then game 2, we see James bring this team that he used last round, Vix, Venusaur, T-Tar, and then Kieran Black, Metagross, Mega, and Hydreigon from Lancer. So James seems boring, so I'm going to talk about Lancer's team. So we could be... So looking at this team, Hydreigon, like, most often you see it beat Scarf Head Smash and beats Charizard. I think you're 50-50 because Counter exists now, but yeah. That's the set you most often commonly see on that. But it could also be Haban, Kieran Black here, but probably more likely to be some other set. This could also be the Reflect Weakness Policy set from All While, or he could be sub Metagross for that. But yeah, cool to see Hydreigon, obviously. Hydreigon, the best Victini answer in the game. When we look at the matchup, Tyranitar is pretty fantastic because Tyranitar should be beating Hydreigon in all universes unless we see like physical superpower kill it. But there is a Metagross, and if the Metagross is sub, then the T-Tar can lose because T-Tar's main out is clicking counter, but like counter into crunch for like bullet punch into mash. I don't know. I think Metagross is still not losing that matchup, but given how James picked last game and to get an Archops 2-1 and he picked the 1-2 basically, he's probably just gonna pick Victini on the Metagross because Tyranitar has a good matchup, and last game Lancer picked into the mon that has a good matchup. Venusaur's probably not a mon that's coming out here. It's pretty 0-3. Well, it's not really 0-3. Amni can defeat Hydreigon, and I think you're stalling Hydreigon anyway, under the assumption that it's Scarf, which is what I would assume looking at the team, but yeah. So we see Victini, so yeah, they went Victini on Metagross. Victini really doesn't have an out here. See that it's faster in V creates, and that's 39. And then we see a focus punch. No, not focus punch, focus energy. So that's super Pepe hands. I guess this team's weak to stall, but so gives another stall answer that's not meteor match raises. I guess this is relevant for Registeel specifically. Because you just crit the Registeel, I guess. Which is interesting, because otherwise Registeel would defeat these Pokemon, I assume. It would, I don't assume it would. But yeah, so this matchup is super losing for James, so I'll just skip through the turns. They roost to not risk the crits. They can just attack now. But they decide to roost again for fun. We see a Will-O-Wisp indicating that this is probably weakness policy. But it doesn't matter, the Hydreigon's definitely gonna win this matchup. The second roost was a bit iffy, but yeah, he's just not gonna lose that. So a good pick from Lancer, picking against how James picked in the previous game. Yeah, this is also, like, Victini could definitely have 2-1 this, especially if it was the Reflect Weakness policy Kieran Black. So yeah. So 1-1. Moving on to the next game. We see another team that James brought last week versus Medicham Genesect Entei. Looking at the matchup, Scarf Genesect from Lancer's quite good here. James's counter is his own Scarf Genesect. Entei also beats the Gardevoir and Genesect. And Medicham, I think Medicham actually beats Genesect. And it will beat Gardevoir if it's Poison Jab, which it definitely could be on this team. Well, it would be kind of redundant with Genesect and Entei, 2 Fairy type beaters, but it definitely could be. So this just kind of looks like a 50-50, but good for Lancer, because James has 1 out versus Genesect, and Lancer's pick into a Poison Genesect if he doesn't want to risk a speed ties Entei. So that invalidates Gardevoir getting picked. So it's basically just a 50-50 between James can go Garchomp on the Entei or go Genesect into... Oh, it's the Garchomp into Entei and Medicham, but Medicham's not getting picked here. And then it's Genesect and pray for speed tie. So, yeah. And we see the Entei into the Garchomp. So James calls it out. Well played by James. That crit ain't mattering, because this is Banchomp. And Entei doesn't do anything back to it. So James goes up 2-1. Moving on to the 4th game. We see another... James is just reusing because he hasn't built new stuff. But Victini, Gyarados, Genesect versus Slowbro, Lob, Clef. Right off the bat, Genesect is quite good into this. Like, bulky specs wins, unless it's some like Babiri, Clef stuff. I believe you have to be Psychic Genesect though, a lot. Otherwise you don't kill, even with specs. Victini's also quite good here, even though this is probably, James only uses weakness policy Victini though. But it's still good here, because it kind of depends on if the lob is sub can cheese Victini, but Victini should bulk for Lop when he fake out into Giga. So if they're Tier Punch, they lose. And yeah. But sub, and just lose the sub. I wouldn't, I don't know, I'm kind of talking nonsense right now, but TLDR, I think Victini should bulk for Lop, and Victini should just beat Lop then, because sub isn't that common. On this team it could be sub, but maybe Encore, because the Venusaur matchup is kind of sus. Well, Slowbro beats most, but not something I like. It's noteworthy that's probably not T-Punch. 1, because it's Lancer, and then 2, he has a Clefable. So yeah. So we could see Genesect come out, but he's probably not Psychic Specs. I mean, and Scarf loses to Slowbro. Seemed like actually loses to Slowbro, by the way. Unless it's Victini that wins. And Lancer can pick like Slowbro's like, you can go Slowbro or Clef, I guess. Clef predicting like Crunch Gyarados, I guess, for Slowbro. Because that's definitely something James could beat. Could beat Slowbro instead of like some Victini set that does it like Specs or Band. That 50-50 anyway, but yeah. So it's either Slowbro Clef or Gyaragen, in my opinion. And then we see the Clef, but we see a Victini come out, which is fair because Victini also beats Mop. We see Taunt into T-Bolt. Taunt's fine turn 1, because Specs isn't going to do enough to you, but that is definitely not Specs. That did 20. We see Bolt Strike do 33. So this is some bulky set. He continues Bolt Striking. Not sure why. I mean, it's probably not in Recreate range, but we see a Citrus Berry and we see a Para, but it just really didn't matter because Victini was winning their matchup. So James wins. Well played series from him. So he moves on to the next round of Winners Bracket. He'll play Potato Chan next round. And Lancer goes to Losers Bracket, where he's going to play Earth Gurgle. Cool. So now we move on to John Fly Romania versus XSTATIC Cold. Another Winners Bracket matchup. So let's just get into it. So we see Tyrantrum, Raikou, Scarm into Deoxys Speed, Heatran, Sableye. Tyrantrum generally runs Scarf. Raikou, I like running Subtech, but Specs is also a thing, I believe. I like Subtech Toxic. Subtech CM is also possible. And Skarmory, dude, I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, Deoxys Speed is XSTATIC, so it's probably Specs, and then probably Balloon Tran, and then just CM with Sableye is what XSTATIC likes. Given those things, if it's Subtech Raikou, it's really good. If it's Specs, then it's still really good, I think. Depends on the Specs Deoxys Speed calc. But you could also... Actually, that's basically Solar's only out into Deoxys Speed. Unless it's like Torment Skarmory. Because Skarmory is definitely not going to be... I don't think it's strong enough with Custap Berry to win that matchup. And you can't Brave for turn 1 because you're going to die to like Recoil, I think. I don't know. Depends on Deoxys Speed moves, I guess. Because that mon has a lot of moves that it can run. But yeah, so let's just play. We just see the Raikou come out into the Deoxys Speed, so Subtech should win because it's bulky enough to eat the Cycle Boost. If it happens to be Stall DOS, it's probably gonna win this matchup, but it kind of has to set guess whether it's Specs or Subtech. And then Raikou's Shiny. I don't think that matters in ORAS. But BBP and Black White, I know you have to run Rash Nature and Shiny to run Aura Sphere. I'm not sure if that's the case here, but I don't think it is. In any case, let's play. So we Cycle Boost go out and do 99, not killing the Raikou. And the Raikou Specs collects Signal Beam and kills the Deoxys Speed. So after the game we found out that this was a 62.5% chance to kill for XSTATIC. So unlucky roll from him. But with mischance, it's like basically 50-50. So unlucky game 1 from XSTATIC still. Moving on to game 2. How do I put that away? I don't actually know. I guess that's just gonna be everything. There's no button. I think I could refresh, but I'm too lazy. So you see Grand Zard Mawile, which Solar dubs the Romanian God Squad with Ban Gren, versus Q Victini Serp. XSTATIC rivals team twice versus Smelly. So the CB Gren like 3-0s, I think. If it does 3-0 if it's faster than Serp, I believe. The cube is banned here. But I think Gren should still kill with low kick. So Gren 3-0s, and there's not much else to say, I guess. Yeah. But we see a forfeit come out from XSTATIC Cold because he saw a Charizard and a Mawile at preview. Actual Pepe hands because he got lucked by Torterra XX in the World Swiss Tour. So he said if he sees a Charizard or Mawile on preview, he's gonna forfeit because those are the best mons in ORAS, and then noobs use them, etc. Yeah. So XSC forfeits game 2, so Solar goes up 2-0. In game 3, we see we see the brother and sister from Solar with the Genesect, Gallade and Guard. With Genesect, so really looking at this game, we have to question how Solar defeats Victini. Gallade is probably his best option. He's normally run like Bulk Up Wisp Encore to beat Charizard, but he could be some other set, and then Gardevoir could be Trick Room for Zard. Or you could just bank on XSTATIC not bringing Charizard. I would say XSTATIC definitely clicks Victini into this though. But he is Choice Lock Victini. We saw him use Specs in a previous series. So that actually does lose to some Sub Protect Disable. Well, not Sub, but like Protect Encore Disable set from one of the brother and sister. He's almost certainly gonna pick into it. Like Surf 2-1's here, but it's kind of ugly to pick. And can still lose the Gardevoir. And like almost always lose the Gardevoir. Like you can win that matchup, but it's not good for you. So let's just play Ope. And as Way says, come on David, XSC forfeits. And I say gone as he is gone. Because XSTATIC has decided that he does not want to play ORAS 1v1 anymore. Because too much Charizard in Mawile, as we could see from this team preview. But yeah, so Solar won that series 3-0 in quite dominating fashion, honestly. Yeah, basically the takeaway is XSC hates ORAS, he dropped from the tour, not gonna play it in PL, so he'll probably play like SM or multi-gen if it's in. If it's in, inshallah, please be in. But, or Black-White, you could play that too. ORAS, basically just not ORAS, I guess. Yeah, so yeah, Solar XSTATIC dropped from the tour, so he's not even going to be in winner's bracket anymore. And then Solar moves on to the next round of winner's bracket where he's going to play Cave. So, yeah. Thanks for watching.